Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. I just cannot get over this piece in the Daily Caller. I mentioned it in the first hour. This 867-page immigration bill contains 1.14 waivers or exemptions per page. By comparison, the 2,409-page Obamacare law includes 0.78 waivers and exemptions per page. Here's a couple of excerpts from the column by Neil Monroe. The new draft of the immigration bill has 85 mentions of unless, 150 uses of except, 18 uses of exempt, 92 mentions of waiver, 42 offers of discretion, 47 uses of notwithstanding, and 618 uses of may, the word may. And including one of these waivers gives the Department of Health or of Homeland Security an exemption to grant an immigrant visa to an alien who was excluded, deported, or removed before the date of the enactment of this act. You know, and every law enforcement provision in this deal's got that kind of exemption or waiver. This is absolutely meaningless because the Secretary of Homeland Security can grant a waiver to anybody she wants. Now, somebody who was deported or removed, excluded, if they're deported or removed, it's the only reason that can happen under this administration is they committed some serious crimes. I mean, this is not a 3 strikes and you're out. This is more like a 5 strikes and you're out. And this bill, the Rubio amnesty bill, would allow the secretary to bring them right back in the country along with 33 million of their relatives. Now, I want to talk about this Plan B bill, 888-589-8840. As you're aware, we talked about this yesterday. The FDA, Food and Drug Administration, has issued a new policy requiring that the Plan B pill be sold over the counter to girls as young as age 15, as young as age 15. Now, I've got, as I mentioned before the end of the segment, U.S. News and World Report contacted AFA about writing a 400-word assessment of this decision by the FDA. They wanted to get feedback, perspective from a pro-family organization. It went to our president, Tim Wildman. Tim is on vacation, so it got passed into my portfolio. And so I drafted a piece last night and sent it off to U.S. News and World Report this morning. I don't know when they're going to post it. But I want you to think for a minute about the implications of this decision about the Plan B pill. Now, first of all, I want to play what President Obama said on clip 1. And, Rob, we may play this again by the end of the segment. But this is the decision by the FDA to put this powerful contraceptive in the hands of 15-year-old girls who don't have to get a permission slip from their parents, don't have to have a prescription for it. Let's listen.
Well, first of all, on the FDA issue, let me make a couple points clear. Number one, there's a decision made by the FDA and the Secretary of Health and Human Services. It's not my decision to make. The first time around, where there were no age restrictions, Secretary Sebelius expressed concerns, and I supported those concerns, and I gave voice to them in the press room back in D.C. The rule that's been put forward by the FDA, Secretary Sebelius has reviewed, she's comfortable with, I'm comfortable with it. The second point I want to make is I'm very supportive of contraception because I think it's very important that women have control over their health care choices and when they are starting a family. That's their decision to make. And so we want to make sure that they have access to contraception. As you know, we had a little bit of fuss around what we're doing with the Affordable Care Act, but I very much think that's the right thing to do.
So President Obama, it's not my decision. That's so that if anything blows up, hey, it wasn't my call. Go talk to Kathleen Sebelius about that. I didn't make that decision, not my decision. So you're blaming the wrong guy here. So again, President Obama creating distance between anything that could blow up in his face. But then he says, I'm comfortable with putting Plan B over the counter in the hands of 15-year-old girls. Now, here are some of the thoughts that I shared in my piece that I turned into U.S. News and World Report this morning. Now, realize you're talking about putting Plan B, this is an abortifacient, it's a birth control pill, on the shelf in the drugstore right next to the Tylenol and the toothpaste. You can go in there, you can get a bag of Cheetos, you get a Slurpee, you can pick up some Plan B. So it's right there, it's over the counter, and all you have to do is be 15 or older to buy it. And all you got to do is provide some kind of proof that you're 15 years old. Now, the first objection I've got to this creates a predator's paradise. Because a predator, an older adult male, can take advantage of a vulnerable young teenage girl and send her into the local Walgreens to purchase this product to cover his own criminal tracks and to conceal his own statutory rape. Now, I went on the DOJ, the Department of Justice website, and they indicate that 59% of the female victims of statutory rape are either 14 or 15 years old. So 59% of the victims of statutory rape are in their middle teenage years. 45% of the offenders, the perpetrators, are over the age of 21. The median differential between the male offender and the female victim is something like 6 years. So now this problem of sexual predators on the loose is only going to get worse because now they've got a way to cover their tracks. They can seduce a victim, whether they've got protection or not. Part of the seduction can be, hey, we can fix this. Don't worry about it. We can pick up the solution on the way home at the local CVS pharmacy. So it's going to increase sexual predators. It's going to harm the nuclear family because it's going to create distance between parent and child. It'll create this zone of secrecy because there's no parental consent, no parental permission, no parental involvement that's required for the dispensing of Plan B. Now, you know this, if you got kids in school, you can't give your kids so much as an Advil at school unless they have got explicit permission from the school nurse. Now, Plan B contains 4 times the dosage of regular birth control pills, 4 times. I went on the Plan B website. You know what it lists as side effects of taking Plan B? Nausea, abdominal pain, headache, menstrual changes, dizziness, vomiting, diarrhea. Now, what 15-year-old girl is going to be in the position to make a medical decision with these kind of side effect risks without the counsel of her parents? None of them. That's why God gave her parents. They ought to be involved in any medical decision of this type. And Plan B is not even 100% effective. I went on the Plan B website. One of the things they were celebrating, this is a quote, they were celebrating this, quote, 7 out of every 8 women who would have gotten pregnant will not become pregnant, end quote, using this method. See, Mom, Dad, you feel better about that? It's got a 7 out of 8 chance of working and preventing pregnancy. Now, it can also cause an abortion. We've talked about this before. The way that Plan B works is it causes the lining in the uterine wall to slough off, so nothing can implant. So if there is a fertilized egg, that's a human being at the earliest stage of development, it's making its way down the fallopian tube. This Plan B would cause that baby to be aborted, flushed right out of the mother's body because it could not implant in the uterine wall. And it's useless against sexually transmitted diseases. No prevention whatsoever. It's going to increase the number of sexually transmitted diseases because the guy's going to say, hey, we don't need protection because we can always go to the local drugstore and get all we need after the fact. And I talked to you about this drug-resistant strain of gonorrhea that's out there, can cause infertility in women. 50% of women, when they've got it, they don't even know that they've got it. No visible symptoms. So the bottom line here, with this decision, we're going to have more family breakdown, more statutory rape, more teen pregnancies, more abortions, and more STDs. Here is President Obama thinking this is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Let's play it again.
Well, first of all, on the FDA issue, let me make a couple points clear. Number one, there's a decision made by the FDA and the Secretary of Health and Human Services. It's not my decision to make. The first time around, where there were no age restrictions, Secretary Sebelius expressed concerns, and I supported those concerns, and I gave voice to them in the press room back in D.C. The rule that's been put forward by the FDA, Secretary Sebelius has reviewed, she's comfortable with, I'm comfortable with it. The second point I want to make is I'm very supportive of contraception because I think it's very important that women have control over their health care choices and when they are starting a family. That's their decision to make. And so we want to make sure that they have access to contraception. As you know, we had a little bit of fuss around what we're doing with the Affordable Care Act, but I very much think that's the right thing to do.
So President Obama, your president, my president, he is comfortable, that's his word, I'm comfortable with Plan B, and this means he's comfortable with an increase in family breakdown, more statutory rape, more teen pregnancies, more abortions, and more sexually transmitted diseases. I give Plan B an F. I give the FDA an F minus. I give President Barack Obama an F triple minus on this one. Well, hope you have a terrific weekend. Here's a blessing to take you into your weekend. May the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times in every way. May the Lord be with you all. Don't forget to bow low before God, stand tall before man, stand in the gap, and never forget, we are fighting a winnable war. See you Monday.
The views and opinions